wonder if anybody else spends so much time thinking about people who don't really matter. Not that they aren't, fully fledged humans with their virtues and vices, with inherent value due to that very fact, the fact that they are, but sometimes thinking about them and considering them just doesn't do any good for anybody, not them, and least of all myself. And that's because we'll probably never speak again. Not that it's impossible. I could find them and reach out if I wanted, but it's just not worth it. Sure, maybe we could make up for the shitty things we've done, and maybe I could regain a friend, but what about just moving on? Taking whatever solace I've managed to scrounge up, whatever lessons I've learned, leaving them to theirs and just moving on. Use the energy that I would have spent chasing their forgiveness and put it towards finding a new friend and doing right by them. I should just leave the past in the past. So why can't I just leave the past in the past? I'm leaving them alone, so why can't I leave myself alone? Truth be told, it's always what I didn't say, what I failed to convey that gets to me. I'm not okay. I should have listened to you. I want to be your friend. I only want to be friends. As much as I've tried my hardest to be honest in my life, some things are just difficult to say in words and unintelligible any other way. Nowadays, I don't ever want words left unsaid, but it's not like it's gotten any easier to speak. God, speak. I want people to speak. I want to know all about them. I want to learn from the things that I'll never experience in my lifetime. But how can I ask them? How can I ask other people to say so many things when so often I'm finding myself selectively mute in the most crucial moments? I've written a lot of songs for the people that I don't talk to. Whether it's I don't talk to them anymore or I don't know them. I've written so many songs for them, and I rarely write songs for the people that I talk to, that I know, that I love. And I feel really bad about it because it's almost like, why are you focusing so much on these other people in the past or these people that you don't even know? Why don't you focus on what you have if what you have is so good? But really, if I know somebody and I can talk to them and I feel like I can tell them anything and I love them for it, I don't feel the need to write any songs for them. There's nothing left unsaid. I feel like music is for the things left unsaid. Music is how people express what they can't say for one reason or another, whether it's that they can't get in contact with the person, or the person's gone, or they don't have anybody to say it to. They put it into a song, maybe release it into the world, maybe not. Even for people who don't write music, they latch on to songs that say what they want to say. They listen to it and they think to themselves, yeah, I get that. That's me. I would be saying that if I could. And they blast it, they sing along, they put it on all their playlists. It's kind of like how people call music the universal language. And, you know, a lot of people interpret that and take it as music can convey anything to anybody. Like, if you feel like you can't communicate something to another person, put it in music, and then maybe they'll understand. And, you know, maybe that's true sometimes, but I feel like music isn't the universal language at all. It's more like the language you use when all else fails. Like, even within music, there's so many different ways that you can say something, and things still get lost in translation. Like, most people, they'll listen to a sonata from the 1800s or something, and it barely means anything to them. Like, it's pretty noises, sure, but they don't understand, like, what the composer's trying to say, and that's not any fault of theirs. They didn't grow up in the 1800s. They didn't grow up with that kind of music. Or maybe they did. Some people do, but this hypothetical person didn't. Like, that doesn't mean that all of that emotion and all of that purpose wasn't put into that piece of music by the composer. It just means that it's not the right language to communicate to that person, you know? And then there's all of the different genres of pop music too. Like, some people hate listening to country. Some people hate listening to rap music. But both country music and rap music are really focused on storytelling when you think about it. But it's about what story you're telling, whose story you're telling, who you're telling it to, and how you tell it. Like, country music, it's very melodic, and it's easy to sing along to, most of the time anyways. And it's like that campfire vibe. Like, you sit around a campfire and you sing country tunes together, and it's a very communal experience, you know? It's all very singable, and that's kind of the beauty of it. Keep in mind, like, I'm not even a huge country fan. I see why people like it. But then when you look at rap, like, people will say, oh, rap has no melody. That's not music. It's totally music. It's just a different kind of music. Rap is so focused on the rhythm and the groove and, you know, the flow of the beat. You have a lot more rhythmic complexity that you wouldn't see in other genres. And that's just because that's the vocabulary. That's the language of rap music. And I mean, to just the elephant of the room, like, whose story are you telling? Country music, nowadays at least, it's all about the stories of rural white Americans. And rap music is usually about urban black Americans, stereotypically at least. And is it any wonder that people who are fans of these two genres hate the other genre so much, when these two groups of people have hated each other so much throughout history? They've been pitted against each other over and over and over, and they villainize each other, and, you know, it's no wonder. That plus the fact that musically the genres are so different, but they both have their own kind of beauty. Like, I'm not particularly a huge fan of country music or rap music, but sometimes I just listen to it just to be like, wow, that's a really good melody, or wow, that flow is fucking sick. I'm also a storyteller, you know, and I love hearing stories. God, I love hearing stories so much. Please tell me your stories. I want people to tell me their stories. That's all I want in life, is to hear stories and tell stories, because I feel like that's what connects us together, is hearing about each other's experiences. Even if it happens to be a fictional story, a story attaches to us when we can kind of see ourselves in it, when we can see real life in it sometimes. Even with totally fantastical stories, you see a little bit of yourself and you start to think, what would I do if I was in that situation? And it's incredible. It's like what I was saying earlier, like, I want to be able to learn from the experiences that I'll never have. I want to be able to hear about them at the very least. I can learn something from it, even if it's not as poignant or as intense as experiencing it myself. I just, you know, some things are just difficult to say in words. Some things are even difficult to say in music. And I wonder, so often I wonder, how can I help people talk to each other? How can I help myself talk to other people? How can we tell more stories, tell our own stories, tell each other's stories, tell random made-up stories? I don't really know. Music is one way, but it's not infallible. It's not universal as much as we want it to be. All I can really think of is just to keep telling stories. And I hope that other people will hear the stories that I tell and decide to tell some of their own. That's all I really want. Yeah, a little reciprocity would be nice. But for now, I'm just talking to my journal. For now, at least.